happens. See if it's a disaster or not. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the Stokastic.com NFL First Look Strategy Show, week 2, where pricing is still pretty insane. And guess what? We self-produce this show now. Jordan Klein, our good pal, is no longer with us. He's moved on to bigger and better things. So I'm going to try a few things today, see how they go. First thing is opening the show solo. So let's see what happens. We open it solo. Look at this behind-the-scenes look on StreamYard. By the way, it's very easy to do. Very easy to do. I'm acting like this is rocket science. Ben Rasa joins me. Look at that, man. See, we're in business. Then we'll pull the screen share up. We're well on our way, brother. How you doing?
I'm flustered because I had to restart this computer and I lost all my logins, including Twitter, which is why I have to go to this other computer to put out a tweet for this. But
yeah, but the sweet part about it is I just did like a solo opening shot, cut it to us on a 2-man, and then I'm going to pull in the screen share, and it's going to be like we're on ESPN. So good. Despite all of the bad things going on for you right now, take solace in knowing that we are in business.
Yeah, that makes me sleep well at night. Yeah, it's good. I'm excited to recap what we saw. I'm excited to give some hot takes for week 2. We haven't really talked much about how it went at chat. I see a lot of messages already. I'm ready to dive in, and yeah, it's going to be a true first look. That's the way I love this show. Like, I don't like to formulate crazy opinions and have all this stuff worked out. I like to work through it with you guys in real time.
Like ground floor style stuff.
Yep, just first impressions. You're going to get my actual first takes on the slate.
I haven't pulled up chat yet. Are all the comments about how well I'm producing this show? I assume.
No, they're not. I haven't seen literally anyone mention that except you.
That's disappointing.
No, they know. They got better things to worry about.
Yeah, like taking a single second out of their fine mornings and atoning for their sins. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done so yet. We appreciate you guys. It goes a long way. This is particularly one of those shows where if you're listening or watching after the fact, because there's such a long shelf life, leave a comment. Let us know your takes. Let us know your opinions, your thoughts. I enjoy it. See, Joseph said, what a great producer. I told you, man.
Well, after you asked everybody, sure.
I didn't ask anybody anything.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, hit that thumbs up, subscribe. It's free. I appreciate you guys. And Fistula said, no, I gave a shout out to the professional producer, Dave. Thank you.
True. Okay.
Thank you, Cars. See, dude, look at the influx of warm welcomes into my producing career. Fistula, welcome to the team, brother. And welcome to all of you guys. Tyler, Jake, Joseph, Roger, everybody else in here. Good morning. This is one of my favorite shows of the week, Ben. You already know that because, as you mentioned, it's way more like once you have the data, it's fun. And you can kind of like confirm or dispel any biases that you may have had. But it's untouched powder. Like we don't have any biases, no preconceived notions about shit in this site. We're just diving in and seeing what pops out. Now, I'll say this. Nolan, who runs our social media, posted like yesterday. This is my first glimpse of the salaries. He posted just like one screenshot of probably 10 or 12 running backs. And he's like, who seems underpriced? And I'm looking at this. Running back has some egregious pricing this week that is absolutely unavoidable. And you're gonna have to eat some chalk on this slate, whether you want to or not.
No doubt. And it's a game theory question. We're gonna dive into it, of course, but I saw some of your tweets about that and just in general. A lot going on with the pricing, early season pricing. I kind of like it though, honestly.
I actually love it. How much of this do you think is? How much of this would you say is DraftKings intentionally softening the pricing to get casuals in the door?
I'd say a lot of it. Early in the season, they don't want people to, be struggling with guys that they've never heard of. That's good. Yeah, get me on the full screen. Zoom in if you can. That's what we need. I think there's an element to that, but at the end of the day, you always have opportunities to understand what the field does. Our tools do that. We try to do that on this. And then no matter what the situation is, it's a game theory question. You can exploit it. If guys are popular, but they should be more popular, we might have to jam. If guys are too popular, even if we like them, we might have to short. And that's just the game we're going to play, particularly at running back this week.
Clayton, good morning, brother. Nice to see you. Mentions that we have to avoid the week one narratives. And
oh, yeah.
It's a perfect time to talk about that. Now, I think there are some narratives you avoid. There are some narratives you don't avoid. Like to say that Jonathan Taylor had every single snap in the first half and 17 carries before the blowout, 18, would be, to ignore that and only pay attention to the fact that Giddens had like 12 carries in garbage time, which, by the way, I could have had at the very least a decent week. That Jonathan Taylor getting vultured by Daniel Jones twice and then getting pulled in the mid-third quarter that tormented me, man. Oh, and I bet the Bears last night.
So did I.
I got him. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying it was a tough couple days, dude, and it felt like I was in the right spot. Like the Bears, I had him plus 105, closes at minus 108, minus 110 on the money line in a lot of spots. I'm like, not just the CLV, but thinking it's a 17-6 game. McCarthy truly looks like a guy who's never started a game, throws a pick six, and I'm just sitting there thinking like, man, I'm in pretty good shape right now. And it all just fell apart. I had Swift over 14 and a half receiving yards. He had 3 for 12 in his first 2 drives, finishes with 3 for 12 because Caleb Williams forgot how to throw a football in the latter half of that game. He looked so good early on and looked terrible in the final 2.5 quarters.
Yeah, no, he just sucks. I was with you. The Bears. We'll get into the rants. Can I, if you at some point in the show want to bring up tails, I do want a victory lap that I had Caleb Williams' first touchdown last night, which was a big one. That was
what
useful.
Made you do that?
So honestly, what made me do it was partly the FanDuel, whatever the thing is called, jackpot. I was looking for a guy that I thought had a chance, but it was really just one of those situations where, for better or worse, I'm not saying it was wrong. In hindsight, it looks like obviously I found a gem, but I really didn't think it should be that high. I was scrolling the odds and he was 20-1. And I was like, man, like really? It seems like he's the type of quarterback that he'll move, he'll run. And so I was just like, you know what? Screw it. And I had him. He was 5-1 for an anytime touchdown. And obviously I just got super lucky at the right time. It was just shocking to me, that price. I was looking for DJ Moore. I was looking for maybe like Loveland, and Caleb just stuck out. That saved my night, though, because I was on the Bears as well.
Well, I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
There you go. Caleb Williams' first touchdown, 20-1. That's crazy right there. So congrats. I'm happy for you.
I'm putting this on the screen. Can I put it on the
close
screen?
Here too? You want to see what I had? Look what I had.
Can you put this on the screen?
What?
Are you scrolling tails right there? No.
I was up there. I just hadn't added it. It's first time producer things. You guys understand. Well, I've told you I need your help. I'm hosting, I'm producing, a little help right there. That's all. What you just did right there is all I ask for.
Okay, well, that's why I did it.
But yeah, you put it up over here. All the experts. Let me Jazz Raz. By the way, that was a free pick, wasn't it?
100%. All those picks were completely free.
Yep.
So, not to give an impromptu, but everybody watching, like, I don't know what it's both. Loughy, all your football picks are completely free. I'm putting out a ton of free content. All you have to do legitimately is press that blue button, and the picks get sent to your device.
I just did it with yours. Yep. Want to see what I had here? Look what I had. And yeah, all these are free. Links in the description for mine and Ben, or just click one of them and search both of us. Look at this. So I had Cole Kmet over 10.5 receiving yards, JJ McCarthy to throw an interception, and fucking Bears money line, dude. 50% profit boost.
Okay.
Disgusting, right?
That's bad.
I mean,
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, this leads me into Are we getting into? I have some hot takes, and then we'll dive into the slate. But I have a lot of complaints, as I normally do.
Fire away.
Well, do we want to get into the goblins? Chat, what do you think?
Yeah, we got to do Goblin of the Week. We can spend time. What I'd like to do, instead of just a full recap at the beginning, we'll weave stuff in throughout the show as we touch on those specific players and games, right? I think that'll streamline it a little better, make it a better experience for the viewers as well. Yeah, Mike, it felt like a bad run out. Now, I mean, to be fair, Kmet didn't have that touchdown or that big 31-yard gain until they were, throwing more late. But he also had 2 targets that Caleb just totally missed him on early. So, yeah, it sucks. I thought I was getting that. I felt really good about that one. Those Bet365 Super Boosts are sick, though. Amazingly, I'm not limited there, Ben, heavily, because I only bet wild parlays on purpose there. I need one. It's like the only book I haven't killed yet, and I'm doing everything to keep it alive.
Count health, baby. You should start betting some of my soccer picks. That'll keep your limits in business forever.
No, I just need to bet what I bet yesterday. Mm-hmm. All right. And yeah, guys, come follow us. We have a really fun time over there. And why would you not want to bet some football all season long? Plus, you may learn something along the way. Anyway, links down there. Free picks. Ben's are free, a lot of them. He has a premium package too. Mine are just free. I don't want to be beholden to that this year. No, but I totally you're a better man than I am. All right. Let's get into Goblin of the Week. For those of you who do not know, every single week, you guys give us yours in the chat. Ben and I give you the Goblin of the Week. And of course, 2 years ago, Nathaniel Hackett crowned as Goblin of the Year. 3 years ago. 2 years ago was Brandon Staley. Last year, we still don't have one. So for now, until we figure it out, this is Goblin of the Week presented by Brandon Staley and Nathaniel Hackett. Ben, do you have somebody good?
All right, here we go. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to do this every week, but I'm doing it this week. Nominations. In third, bronze medalist would be the entire Miami Dolphins organization.
Very bad.
Disgrace. I bet the Colts. I didn't think it would be like that. A disgrace. Second, had to look up this guy's name. Brian Callahan, who I think is the guy from Tommy Boy as well. But regardless.
Tennessee Titans second-year head coach, by the way. He was there last year. Good job.
He shouldn't be a third-year head coach, obviously, because he doesn't know the rules. You have to know the rules. That should be a prerequisite. I don't know if you saw that, Loughy, but that moron arguing about the elbow verse, get it together. And I'm a fan of general with the Titans. I like a lot of their players, but you have to know the rules.
I missed it. What happened?
Okay, so they didn't challenge key play. They asked him about it, and he's like, well, it was just an elbow down. And as we know, one elbow doesn't equal 2 feet. So you need that second foot. Well, that would be a great comment, except one elbow does equal 2 feet. That is the rule, and you need to know that.
Even, your butt, your forearm, and like a calf, any of that stuff. Yeah. So
and then the winner.
You need 2 feet or anything. What's that?
Yeah. Or
anything like outside of your hands.
Everybody knows that, though.
What about your head?
I don't know, but don't ask Brian Callahan because he's not going to know, obviously.
But really, what about your head? Like you come down, you catch it, you get flipped over, you land on the top of your head. And
I don't think that counts.
Really?
No. I don't know. I just don't think it does. Anyway.
Huh. But yes, that's insane if you're arguing that only
you gotta know. You gotta know. And then the winner.
That stuff we've known since we were 10.
Everybody knows that. It's not complicated stuff. And there's only 32 of these coaches. You think they would all know this. My winner, probably some recency bias, but it's also, I'm doing it from expectations to reality, is your boy Ben Johnson last night. Ding, ding, ding. He's supposed to be some guru genius. He also doesn't know what everyone understands. Just kick it out of bounds. I don't know how intently you were watching late. That's not a complicated situation. You need to get the 2-minute warning as your second timeout.
Yeah, I watched it. You had Kevin O'Connell waving him from the end zone to take the ball out.
Because one coach understands what's going on, and the other is, I don't understand. You have to know these things, especially when you're touted as some type of super genius. It's just not that hard to figure stuff like that out. You just kick it out of bounds. That's just what you do. Really disappointing. Maybe he schemed some guys open. I'm not smart enough to understand that. That was pretty lackluster. Bears should have won the game. And not only did they not win the game, their coach did not give them the best chance to win the game. Not a good start for Ben Johnson. And I'm a fan of his. But man, that is one strike. Not Nathaniel Hackett, where I think he should be fired immediately. The Titans guy should be fired.
No, there were 2 strikes on Ben Johnson. There was another one that really hurt them, and I'll tell you what it was. He never should have challenged that one play. That was as obvious as humanly possible that you don't challenge that, even if it's not confirmed, it will stand, it can't be overturned. And they ended up losing a very valuable timeout where they could have had about a minute left, right? They could have had a minute left to move the ball downfield. Instead, they had 9 seconds.
Yeah. I just, again, these are just not complicated things.
Can I tell you my Goblin of the week?
Please.
By the way, Matt Garrett just followed both of you on Tails. Need some free bets to win some money. Hell yeah, man. Welcome to all of you guys. All right, I've been waiting on this all my life. It's Mike McDaniel. Oh, yeah. I've been saying this to you and to everybody, whether it's in the DFS space or the betting space, that you can't be this, this guy that speaks in riddles, right? And it's like, to understand what he's saying, you have to, it's like you're cracking some cipher, just to understand what he means. He speaks in circles. He treats everybody like they're dumb. Okay. And I've said this forever. I had so many people.
You have. I will give you that.
I had so many people years ago be like, dude, you're just a hater. He's awesome. I'll bet you something right now. People are growing very, very tired of the antics. The same way that, we all love Jameson Winston now that he's, that he was doing like, commentating and stuff like at the Combine or the Super Bowl or whatever, that we all loved him, myself included, in that crazy snow game. The moment Jameis starts to get a little bit, not good on the field, those eccentricities become a little less endearing, and you start going, all right, dude, chill out. Same thing with Mike McDaniel. You knew it was going to happen. He speaks to people in ways where there is no actual answer. I've never liked it. I've never been a fan of that style of speaking to the media where they're like, how did the guys do today? He's like, they may have done well. They may have done bad. They may be happy. They may be sad. It's like, dude, how did they do? And he's like, they did as good as they could do if they could do well, but they can't. It's like, what are you talking about? That's Mike McDaniel, and people are tired of it.
So, and then we'll get to the slate. I thought Mike McDaniel, I liked that concept because it was working. But this is the type of thing with a pitcher when you only have one pitch. Now it's not working, and he's just doing the same things still. Like, it works, but then when it doesn't work, if you can't change up and throw an off speed, a slider, like, now you're screwed, because every time you get to the podium and you're just like, I didn't have them prepared, and that's on me. Well, you can't just keep saying that. That would just you don't know what you're doing. So that's a good one. He is not lasting the season. He's just not.
All right, rapid fire for you and everybody in chat before we get straight into this. Who is the first coach fired this year?
Mike McDaniel.
You think it is? Okay.
Yeah. Because it should be that Titans guy, but I don't think they're going to do that with a new quarterback, and they're not going to be good anyway. What do you think? Dave?
I think if McDaniel has another couple bad games, it could be over for him quickly. Yeah.
Me too.
I know Callahan, that was dumb, but I wouldn't fire him yet. You got it. I mean, it's just, that's not right. Will Levis is terrible, and he had to deal with all of that crap last year. So,
well, who knows with this guy? He might think that you get some of the points if you throw a pick six. We don't know what this guy's telling Levis. Like we need points, and he's like, okay, well, this is the quickest way to get points.
I did not know about the 1 point rule in the 2-point conversion. I actually didn't know that rule.
We don't have time for this, but there is a way for a team to actually only score 1 point.
I know.
No, but I know what you're saying, but that's the team that. Yeah, I'm going to explain it to you and we'll talk about it next
Wait,
week.
are you saying there's a way for the team that's going for 2 to only score 1?
No, I'm saying that it is theoretically possible for a team to actually only have 1 point in a game.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It involves like that scenario, but you have to get a safety on the wrong end zone.
All right. This will be
after the show. Anyway, go ahead. Let's go.
This will be for next week.
All
right. On to the plays for week 2.
Wow.
All right, let's do it. I'm gonna annoy you so bad now that I found these sound effects.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like this.
Yeah. What Ben did when he saw Brian Callahan.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna be producing next week, everybody. Don't worry. This is not a problem.
All right. Ben's head when I do another sound effect. All right, that's it. Let's go. Here we go. I'm gonna get good at this, I promise you. Quarterback position. It's good, but I wouldn't say it's fully loaded this week. Not like it was last week, which actually makes me happy, Ben. I was almost overwhelmed last week looking at some of those plays. I assume you were similar. The one injury worth noting is Brock Purdy. There is some type of curse on that San Francisco 49ers team. I wish I could tell you what it was, but they are all dropping like flies. Jennings might play. Kittle's out for a few weeks, 3 to 5. Purdy is going to be given the whole week to see how he is for Sunday. And they have a matchup against the Saints this week. But when I look at the rest of this quarterback position, Joe Burrow is facing Jacksonville. That matchup right there is wild. Kyler Murray at home against Carolina, who once again proved that all of this hype surrounding this team is, in fact, not real. Is there anyone up top, let's say, let's say Hurts, Jackson, and Allen, that you'd be clamoring to get to?
No, not in this. Well, listen, let me clarify this. All of them are elite quarterbacks, so I feel great. Anytime you're going to tell me I can roster Lamar at 7,000 or Josh Allen at 71, feel really good about that. But no, I'm not super interested relative to that they're playing divisional matchups that are, even though the Jets defense, I don't really know what's going on. It's one game, but yeah, the pricing is soft. They're fine, but there are quarterbacks right below them that I prefer.
That's where I'm at. See, do I have a problem with Allen? No, that game did just shoot out, that Jets game and the Buffalo game, right? Lamar against Cleveland. I think this Cleveland defense, anytime you have Myles Garrett, it's just they're good. But Lamar is a super mobile quarterback, whereas Joe Burrow, he can move a little bit, but not like Lamar Jackson. So if Lamar ends up being very low owned because it's deep everywhere else, that's the one thing I'm thinking about, Ben, where people go, man, Cleveland just shut down Joe Burrow. They tormented him behind the line of scrimmage. I don't know if I want to do that in another divisional spot. By the way, 2 rough divisional games for Cleveland to kick off the year. I could see Lamar, if he's low owned, being somebody that I'm very interested in, especially considering Zay Flowers. It's only 1 week. I don't want to overreact, but we saw a lot of it when he was healthy last year. Zay Flowers was the very, very clear alpha in that offense outside in the passing game.
As he should be, because he's awesome. Yeah. I mean, in some of these schedules, if I had a 4th Goblin, it would be the scheduling. Like the Giants at Washington, at Dallas.
That's tough, man.
Like, what do you do? What is that? But yeah, listen, we're going to keep hammering home that it's really soft pricing. Getting these guys at that price, their ceilings, regardless of matchup, are sky high. But let's get right to it. Not just to save time, but just because I don't think we need to sugarcoat it. Joe Burrow and Kyler are right below them, and they're both in borderline kill spots. They're going to be popular. They should be popular, and they stand out to me.
It's those are the 2 guys in the mid-range that immediately jump off the page.
Yep.
Brock Purdy, if he's healthy, also is interesting, but I probably piecemeal that game before I stack it. I think there's a world where, you full out onslaught game, the whole game between Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence.
Yes. That is the perfect game. not that you're just buying low too, but certainly Burrow was underwhelming. They were underwhelming. That is as close to you can get to abject failure while winning. They had 7 yards in the second half. That's insane.
Is that what it worked out to?
They did nothing. Chase did nothing. Burrow did nothing.
I know.
But they won.
Myles Garrett's phenomenal. He is the amount of disruption that he causes is unreal. I'll say, look, I bet Cleveland in that game. I gave Cleveland out over on tails and in the betting videos as well. Not money line, but the +5.5. They should have won that game. Joe Flacco had 2 interceptions. Both of them were the fault of his own receivers. One went off Judy's hands and another went off Cedric Tillman's hands. I don't know if you saw that, but Burrow had a good game. He had a really good game. He should have won.
Yeah. I mean,
Flacco.
Yeah, I know what you meant. Those are just really good spots. And Jacksonville is just going to be a team I think we target on both sides for quite a while. Yeah.
What do you make of Mahomes and the Chiefs right now?
Nothing. I think that they're about the same as they were. They play in a lot of really close games, and when you do that, eventually you will get burned. And maybe they have a bad run out this year with those.
That was my thinking. And no Xavier Worthy's almost certainly going to miss a game.
Apparently that guy. I thought he was going to miss. He seems to be way better than I thought he was.
Yeah, I mean, it's a dislocated. My buddy just dislocated his shoulder in a hockey game the other week, and he went to the hospital. They popped it back in. He said the pain was incredibly immense before they popped it back in, and then it was just sore for a couple of weeks, like real sore for a couple of weeks. So I don't know. I think it said that Worthy's foregoing surgery for now, but who knows? I don't really want to get there.
No, definitely not. The problem with dislocated shoulders without, I am a doctor. Once you dislocate it, the chances that you dislocate it are extremely high.
Yep.
And so that's the problem.
That's why they do surgery, to make sure that it's actually fixed back in there. But yeah, you know what game I'm actually interested in that maybe gets overlooked? I could see Denver and Indy being like a low-key game where it ends up shooting out in Indy, and Bo Nix bounces back. The Colts defense isn't as stout as it was against that terrible Miami team right now. That could be a sneaky little spot right there. I don't know how inclined I am to get there, but I could see a world where I get to like a Bo Nix stack with Courtland Sutton and, Pat. It wasn't Marvin Mims that was getting the bulk of the work outside of Sutton, and then maybe like a Jonathan Taylor run back or something. I don't know. I'm just thinking through this because I think there are going to be a few spots this week that are very, very chalky.
I would agree with that. And yeah, we just saw, of course, Indy be the key to a low scoring. I want to point that out. Low scoring week 1.
Very,
very low scoring. So that is something. Also, what is this little icon on YouTube for me? What does that mean?
Where? Oh, like a crown next to it?
Yeah.
It's a new thing where you get experience points for talking to people.
Oh, well, look
for being social.
That's just fantastic. Other than that,
Landis Clayton says, yes, it wouldn't be a show without Loughy on the Sutton train. I know I'd take a lot of shit for that, but if we're being fair, we were early on Courtland Sutton.
Yes, we were.
From the beginning, it's, hey, if Sutton gets a quarterback, this guy's going to be nasty.
Yeah, because he's amazing.
By all accounts, Courtland Sutton is really good. Did you see that grab he had, the contorting his whole body in the end zone? Like, this guy's awesome. And I know, Landis, I'm not talking about you, but I certainly had some bets last year that went sideways on Sutton. I can say this much. He was plus money to have 1,000+ receiving yards this year, which seemed like one of the craziest bets in the world.
He's a player. Denver, also shout out to Denver coaching staff who threw a Hail Mary to try to ice the game instead of doing many other things that they could have done. But
running backwards,
anything would have been a better idea than that. But lucky their defense is great. Honestly, all my cheap quarterbacks are the twists of the games we already talked about. They're just the worst side of it.
All right. So Trevor Lawrence.
Fields.
Would you consider Joe Flacco at 5K?
No, only because it's so soft. I don't need to pay down at quarterback.
You're right. It is it's soft. Now, as far as paying down goes, I mean, I would consider like a Drake May or something like that.
What about Tua?
That's what I was going to say. I would genuinely think that maybe the spot is Tua Tagovailoa. If Christian Gonzalez is out again, no one's going to want to play Tua in this stack next week. Absolutely nobody is going to want to do this. And maybe they're justified in not wanting to do it. But they have a concentrated offense. They still, at 5,300, I think I would consider it.
You know what's crazy? Tua, nobody wants to do it. Why? Pretty simple. They looked awful in week 1. Danny Dimes looked outstanding, and nobody wants to do it in week 2. Kind of fascinating. Neither do I, really. But wow, what a performance, and just that ownership is going to be in the floor again. Waddle gets hurt. Okay. Who is more likely to get the update that they're headed to the tent? Waddle or Olave? Every week.
Waddle already did, or Olave already did.
So did Waddle.
Yeah. Oh, did he?
Yeah, they always are banged up. Two of my favorite players in the league, too.
Look at this, man. You see what I'm building right here? I'm just throwing it out there. Look at Tua, Waddle, Hill, Breece Hall, Christian McCaffrey.
This is why you don't need to punt at quarterback. Like, you could take your stack with it, but this is crazy. Hunter Henry.
What's that?
Hunter Henry.
Oh, on the run back?
Yeah.
I like that.
Miami doesn't deserve, Miami's going to do something stupid. I want to run back on Tua teams.
Sure. Where's T. Higgins? Yo. I was going to say Chase Brown and go with the
twist. Twist it up with Brian Thomas.
Love it.
You got Higgins and Thomas. I love that strategy.
Look at that lineup.
Yeah, amazing.
That's a beauty. We just made that in 2 seconds. Now, granted, there's going to be some chalk in there, but just to give you an idea of how easy it is to do that, like Tua, I think Hall's going to be chalky, especially after what Henry did and what he did. McCaffrey, clearly. Hill, Waddle, Higgins, Henry, Thomas, and that's a sick lineup right there.
I love that. I mean, that is right in the wheelhouse.
With just enough twist, just enough chalk, right? Pretty sweet. Any other quarterbacks? I have one more for you, and then we can move on if you don't have anybody else.
You want to talk about Dak?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Well, you know why? I actually think this Giants defense is better than people give them credit for. They do have a very good defensive line. They held Washington, to not the greatest game. There's something that like the Dak Pickens and CD stack, or Dak, CD, and Ferguson, or something like that, is actually kind of nice.
Really nice. I'm with you. I mean, it was a somewhat lucky guess, but I also saw the path that you saw. They have to get the long week. I think Dallas is going to be fine.
Me too. I don't think they're going to be particularly good, but they're not going to be an embarrassment.
No, the Giants are going to be the Giants' schedule. Not that anyone cares about this, but it seems impossibly hard.
How is that even possible when you finish that far down in the division?
All right, can I just do this real quick?
Please, yeah, go ahead. I'm sure everyone will be interested.
Just give me a yay or an win-loss. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Commanders, they already lost. At Dallas.
Loss.
Okay, so 0-2. Home to the Chiefs.
Win.
Okay, 1-2. Home to the Chargers.
I don't really, but I got to give him one weird win. So
Okay.
that'll be it. Because every
Okay.
team does it once. You know that, right?
Very fair.
Mhm.
Now, week 4. So they're 1-2 in your mind. Home to the Chargers.
Loss.
Okay, 1-3. At the Saints.
I'm going to give them the win there. I think Jackson Dart will be starting by week 3.
Okay. I would probably give them a win there too. So you're 2-3. Ready? Home to the Eagles.
Loss.
At the Broncos.
Loss.
At the Eagles.
Loss.
49ers.
I probably should split it with the Eagles, honestly, but loss.
At the Bears.
Win.
Packers.
Loss.
At Lions.
Loss.
I mean, we're in like week 15 now. Like,
how do they have such a hard schedule? That's unreal. Well, you know what it is?
It's the North.
It's the NFC North. Yeah.
Yep. Brutal.
Yeah, that's brutal, man. Brutal.
And on the other side, they get the Chiefs, Chargers,
Broncos,
Raiders, Broncos. That's the worst one over there too.
They get 2 of the toughest divisions in football.
Awful schedule.
Not to mention their division's tough outside of them.
Double Washington, double Dallas, double Philly. Good luck. How brutal is that schedule?
Terrible. So, yeah, Dak was the guy. And if you were to build this out right now, not bad. Dak, Lamb, Pickens, Titans, I'm just throwing them in there randomly. $5,600 remaining. With a cheap tight end, that's pretty easy. If you wanted to run it back with Neighbors, you could do that as well, Ben. But I'm a little bit down on Neighbors with Russell Wilson, the way he looked last week. So
me too.
There's that. Running back position. I'm going to forego the Barkleys and the Henrys this week. I'm going to dive straight into the McCaffrey range, the HN, the Chase. Do you know Chase Brown saw 100% of running back rushing attempts on Sunday? 100%. Samaje Perine was, scarcely involved in the passing game. He had 2 receptions. 100%. This might actually be, along with, say, Jonathan Taylor, the most lopsided, the bell cow role in the league, even more than, a Saquon Barkley.
I mean, it doesn't get higher than 100%. So, it's just interesting. There is one name that you didn't, not gloss over. That's not the right word, but you didn't mention up there, and that's Jahmyr Gibbs. 7,400. I know the Lions looked awful. Right off the bat, that is a tournament play that I have circled in Gibbs.
Of course. Yeah. How many people are going to want to get to Jahmyr Gibbs this week? I still think plenty, but I don't think he's going to be nearly as owned if he was, in other spots. The fact that, can I tell you what I don't understand about this spot? And I know Ben Johnson's gone, but Jared Goff averaged like 4.9 yards per attempt, and Jamison Williams, was averaging like the ADOT was like 5. What possesses a team like this to go, you know what, we're going to try and dink and dunk. 5.8 yards per attempt for Jared Goff. What possesses them to try and do something like that? I'm really confused by it, Ben. I don't get it. You look at the deep targets. Do you know how many deep targets he took 20-plus yards downfield on the entire day?
Not a clue.
1, and it was to Khalif Raymond. How is that possible? I don't care if it's to Tesla. I don't care if it's to Jamison Williams. By the way, Tesla is nasty.
That guy, that catch was amazing.
Him and Kyle Allen did it all preseason. They had 3 touchdowns together in the preseason.
I like Tesla. He's a cool dude.
But I don't care if it's to Laporta downfield, St. Brown, Jamison Williams, a burner. How is it? Green Bay was taking that away. I don't care. You have to figure something out. You dink and dunk down the field with those. You have no excuse to score like, what did they? I don't know what they scored, but when I looked the last time, they had like 6 or 7 in the third quarter. You have no business being incapable of scoring no matter who you're facing with those weapons.
Yeah, no argument. And maybe it is the offensive line, but that's just a a spot to keep in mind because people are going to go to McCaffrey against the Saints. People are going to go to Chase Brown for sure. I think James Conner will still get more love, and he should at home against Carolina. You mentioned Breece Hall. It's at least there's some decisions to be made here. I think it's a pretty fair price.
They did lose 2 key offensive linemen, right? One to free agency.
And they lost Ben Johnson.
Yep, one to retirement as well. Jared Goff last year had one of the lowest pressure rates. This year it was top 10 in week 1. It's only 1 week. They are on the road. You get them back home, this team does damage in the dome. I'm with you on Jahmyr Gibbs, no doubt. I also am willing to go back to Devon Achane here. Chase Brown. James Conner, the one thing that worries me a little bit is that Trey Benson looked good. He broke off that 52-yard run down the right sideline. I like him. He's in his second year. They had talked this summer about him getting more work, and it appears to be the case. I don't know. I don't know what to think of James Conner right now, but I'd still play some of him. The one you like, Jahmyr Gibbs. The one that intrigues me is James Cook against the Jets.
Ooh, interesting. You think the Jets defense, that wasn't an outlier, maybe?
What?
The Jets defense, they obviously looked horrible. I said, do you think that was an outlier, or do you think there's something to it?
I could see this game being 14-10 or 34-31. Something weird like that. I don't love Cook here, but I think nobody will play him. Our friend Buntcake, who took down the Millie using the tools last year, said the big stand was a really low-owned James Cook. Obviously, it's situational, but Cook is often a guy that people just don't want to play.
Well, it makes sense, too, because you have Josh Allen and some guys that are going to overshadow him on the offense when you're in a good matchup. When you're in a bad matchup, you're not thinking of James Cook either. So there's not a lot of times where he's the guy that everyone's thinking about. Joey, it's going to be – let me tell you this. I saw this morning. They said Jared Goff, that's what's on Twitter, has had 5 coordinators. Have you seen that, Loughy?
No. Elaborate.
Okay. In his career, he's had 5 play callers. Take away Sean McVay and take away Ben Johnson. Goff is 0-19-1 with the other 3 in his career.
No way.
That's pretty bad.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, it's only 1 game.
No, it is.
But that is not great.
That's not good, no.
Whew. We got almost 500 people watching with us right now. Probably a good time to tell you guys that if you missed out on any of the promos, because we had some big ones for week 1, Ben, this might actually be better than any of the other ones. Because if you use the link in the description, tap it. If you're on your phone, click it on a computer, where it says sign up with our Sportsbook partners, get the Sims free. You can literally just click any of these, claim offer. Just click claim offer on any that you're not a part of. If it's a sportsbook or a pick'em site, a DFS site, if you're in a non-legal betting state, sign up, make a deposit. $5 or $10 is the minimum on all of these. Then after your first bet or your first lineup settles, just simply take a screenshot. Everyone knows how to do that, of the first settled bet and of your welcome email, and email it to us at support@stokastic.com for proof. And just tell us what you want. You're getting a free month of the core Sims. That's it. Now, the best part, Ben, you know this, is not only are you getting bonus bets for some of these, match deposit bonuses with some of these, you could win your bet and then you're just free rolling, but also you can stack as many months as you want. If you're not on any of these, or let's say, because you'd be on DraftKings, you're probably on FanDuel. Let's say you're not on 5 of these. If you signed up with 5 of these, you spent, let's say, an average of like $7 because the deposit minimum deposits are different. You're talking around what, $35 to get 5 months of the Sims of whatever sport you want. It's a no-brainer.
So the thing about this is it's stacking value. That's the only thing I want to leave you with. It's not like do this thing that you have no use for to get the Sims that everybody wants. You should use, even if you don't want the Sims for some insane reason, I would really encourage you to claim these offers independently of that. There's no reason not to get on books that are giving you bonus bets, especially with tails. We already talked about this. You're getting a free feed of picks over there. You don't have to, you can go there and get free bets for all these sites. So take your bonus, get your month of the Sims, and then use all of this to really, really blend. It is that simple. You mentioned the stacking. Find a book that fits your state, that fits what you're after, and save yourself some value, make some money.
Yeah, man. Simple as that.
It's really simple too. Yep.
Yeah, it's a sign up process that you do for anywhere. Then you just email us and you can stack as many months as you want. It's so simple.
Bet365, not in New York. I'm in New York, my friend, but a lot of those sites are in New York. BetMGM among them. There are options. Wish Bet365 was here though.
I love Bet365 here because I can still play there. It's nice. And then Joseph, do you need a computer? Can you use Android for the Sims? For the single lineup Sims, you can. Technically, it works with the regular Sims, but you want, like Rand said, get a cheap laptop or something. It's just better to have that because when you want to export lineups and use the entry manager, it's such a smoother process. And Red Skittles, our man, appreciate you, dude. Look at that beautiful custom Stokastic ring that he won. I wish these streams were 3 hours long. I'd listen all day. Well, this one's pacing it, so you might get.
Yeah, we're struggling.
All right, can I tell you my favorite running back play of the week? And this is when we do this show. This is not like I'm not factoring in ownership yet because I don't know what it's going to be. Breece Hall, $6,200. Buffalo just got gashed by Derrick Henry. Someone just tweeted me. They said Breece Hall won't come anything close to what Henry did, but at 6,200, I think we got to try. Yeah, I'm not suggesting that Breece Hall is going to go out there and have 5 or 3 runs of 30 plus. He had a 30, a 46, a 49. Yeah, he had 2 touchdowns. Henry was dominant. But that Bills run defense showed big holes last year. And we did, how fun was it to see Breece Hall look almost pre-injury version of himself? Explosive, elusive, like his quickness. I loved him coming into the league. I loved him early on. And then he got hurt and he wasn't the same. He looks good again.
He looks great. And I did not expect that. I actually shorted him. And he was awesome. Now, there is one more before we get to wide receiver and tight end and bounce on out of here. I do want to ask you about, and it actually is near to dear in your heart. What do you make, if anything, of the Jacksonville situation? Because I saw yesterday that you guys got Tank Bigsby.
I love ETN this week.
Okay.
Do you not? Do you not?
I do.
I don't see how you wouldn't want to get to a $5,700 Travis.
He's going to be popular, but he should be.
I made a complete 180 on this guy. I really thought, like in the best ball streets, he was being drafted at one point like 40, 50 spots ahead of Tank Bigsby, and I just couldn't click it. That was my mistake, no doubt about it. No doubt. I'm underweight on ETN this year, and he's going to end up being a great value if he stays healthy.
Wow.
What about your boy?
Once Tootin takes over, none of this will
matter. That's what I was going to say. What about your boy, Tootin?
I mean, that's inevitable. It's just not yet.
Wait, you think it'll be this season?
Potentially. He's a good player. Really good.
But this week, I mean, Travis Etienne just makes too much sense to avoid, in my opinion. Like this guy,
cash viable.
What's that?
I think he'll be like cash viable, one of the highest owned players on the slate,
especially in this matchup. Yeah, if he's super chalky, you're going to have a million different pivots. You're not going to have it. You're not going to have a hard time pivoting. But he played 40 snaps. The rest of these guys, Bigsby, Allen, and Tootin, played a combined 27. But here's the big thing, is that Etienne was getting all of the snaps before garbage time, Ben. And that right there, because this did devolve into like a garbage time type game against Carolina. Etienne got all of the real snaps. There was a point early in the third quarter, I looked at the rushing attempts. I don't think anyone but Etienne, other than LeQuint Allen, had like 1 or 2. Bigsby and Tootin didn't have a single carry until late.
Yep. No, yeah. I mean, they seem content with that, and he can catch the ball. He makes a ton of sense. Everyone's going to notice that.
Can I give you who I think could be a really interesting pivot if Travis Etienne is super popular?
Swift?
Would you consider Javonte Williams against New York?
I honestly thought you were going to say it, but then I was like, yeah, you mentioned Dak. Not really. I think he's fine, but I honestly think if I had to pivot in that same range, I would go to Pollard or Dobbins, honestly.
All right. I can see it. I mean, look, Javonte played 77% of snaps last week and was the clear goal line back, and Miles Sanders lost a critical fumble.
It's not a volume issue. It's more he is going to be drawing to really specific, like he was a CeeDee Lamb non-pass interference. Like those touchdowns were somewhat fluky. Maybe the game script will be better, but obviously they caught a huge break with Jalen Carter. I'm not that high on Dallas's running game in general.
Fair enough. Yeah, I just thought it was interesting because Jaden Blue was a healthy and active last week, and Sanders didn't. Sanders had a big run and then he fumbled in a terrible spot. Like, I think there is a path here where Jameson Williams actually early on is a legitimate bell cow for this team.
Yeah.
And they're favored in this game. So there's that. But I can understand where you're coming from there. I don't have anybody else.
No, me either.
Let's go to wide receivers. What do you say? Now, this is probably as stacked as it was last week. I think you can be pretty picky at wide receiver, running back and quarterback. Wide receiver gets difficult for me because there are so many options. I want you to see this for a second. You have Chase against Jacksonville, Lamb against the Giants, Neighbors, against Dallas. If you wanted to go to St. Brown against Chicago, but Brian Thomas against Cincy, Garrett Wilson, Tyreek Hill super cheap, but here, I'll go even further. Zay Flowers against Cleveland, Cortland Sutton, T. Higgins against Jacksonville. What we're finding out, and I've noticed it last year, but also this year, the cold, hard truth is it's not just like, oh, there's some great matchups this week. The truth is there are just more great wide receivers in the league now than there have been in previous years. I'm convinced of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the league, it's because there's less great running backs. Like, it's just turned into that type of league, I think. There are most teams now, their second wide receiver, people would say if they were on a different team, would be a fine one.
Oh, my God, yeah.
So it's like you just have them stacked on top of each other, and the pricing has to be somewhat like this. So guys like Marvin Harrison Jr., Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be perpetually underpriced, seemingly forever at this rate.
I love him this week.
Yeah, I loved him last week. And Zay Flowers is another one. Like, these are big time weapons. They don't have it updated. Anyway,
I know. I was just trying. I wanted to see what his target share.
Same. But this is where I want to spend. If I'm going to spend, it's going to be at wide receiver this week because the guys at the very top, I think we didn't see the 40 point. Like, I don't know who was the highest scorer on last week's slate. It might've been Daniel Jones. We didn't have those 40 point, like Chase, Lamb. One of these guys, I think, explodes this week for the classic. Like, how many bonuses were handed out last week for 100 yards?
Bijan hit it receiving. Who
else? I genuinely across the league don't know if anyone else hit it.
Lamb hit it, but that wasn't in the first
That was
game.
on Thursday, yeah.
Right. Or that yeah. I mean, Brian Thomas, I don't know if he had a catch. He had an end around touchdown or something. He caught 1 of 7 targets and had a 9-yard touchdown on the ground.
Crazy. It was just a crazy week like that.
Flowers had 100 plus, but that wasn't the main slate either.
No, Henry had it, but not the main slate. Hollywood, not the main slate. Like, there just wasn't. So just this week, we're going to see some of that.
I mean, I want to get to Ricky Pearsall again. He had 100, by the way.
Just have to keep an eye on Purdy.
Well, yeah, of course. That's a big thing. And I'd almost hope Jennings does play. Pearsall might be out there by himself at this point could just be the Pearsall McCaffrey show. Judy McMillan against Arizona. I'd go back to the well there. Waddle. I think Waddle's fine. As gross as it feels, I'd go to Waddle. Jameson Williams is 57. I will absolutely take shots on Jameson Williams. George Pickens, you mentioned that Marvin Harrison Jr. at 5,800. My guess is he's pretty popular, but I still like him. How about this? Adams and Puka Nacua combined for a 66% target share against Houston on Sunday.
They're going to be a good team to target just because I really respect Houston's defense. I had the under in that game. I really liked that being more methodical. The Rams, A, pretty impressive, and B, Tennessee is a huge drop-off. So that immediately is a plus matchup for those guys.
People mentioning Kayshon Boutte in chat. Yeah, it's bizarre, man. I had tweeted something, Ben, yesterday, right? And it was I tweeted like my 15 takeaways from the slate, and I'll show you one right here. So look at this. You can see it on the screen. Pearsall had led the league with 4 deep balls this week, but look at the other guys that had 3 deep targets. These are the only ones outside of CeeDee Lamb and JSN. Tyquan Thornton, Calvin Austin, Iomenor. How do you say that? Iomenor?
I have no idea.
I thought you would know because you're a college guy. Elick.
No, I don't even know who that is.
Iomenor?
I don't even know where he went to college.
Maybe someone can help me with that one, and I'll get it right going forward. And Kayshon Boutte. Look at that. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, that is crazy stuff. It's going to be.
Keon Coleman had 100+ yards too, and looks good.
Wasn't on the main slate, but yes, yeah, he looks awesome. Right.
Would you play him this week against the Jets?
Stanford. Thank you, citizen. Playable, particularly with Allen, but again, I'm not going to overreact. The one thing, there's a million things, but at the top of the list of things that I can't reconcile why it happened would be that Pittsburgh and the Jets shot out. I don't understand that. I don't think that's indicative of anything long term.
You know, they both almost cleared the game total on their own.
Yeah, I never, ever, ever in a million years thought that was on the table. So, but I don't want to overreact. I don't want to overreact.
A complex kid said Pickens is going to be under-owned. Could very much see that. I am more than willing to get some George Pickens, even if it's just a one-off there. Very, very willing. Matter of fact, I could see myself just doing skinny stacks, as you like to call it. Secondary stacks. You like to call it a twist, with like Pickens neighbors, Lamb neighbors, something like that. I might actually do a lot of that this week.
I love that strategy. Because again, you only get to roster one quarterback. So that's the opportunity. Just because I do this a lot where I'm like, man, I love both these stacks. And then I pick one. But why not take the other stack that I had?
And now you can play both of them.
That's what I mean. Like, you don't need to go one or the other. And we've seen that time and time again. So I'm not going to forego that with so many high octane offenses in so many advantageous positions.
With how much Spencer Rattler threw on Sunday, are you willing to consider this? Look, I'm not saying a stack, but Chris Olave is under $5K now, Ben. He's under $5,000. Rashid Shaheed's $4,500. They're very cheap.
I don't think you're not going to see me play Rattler, but having a one-off of those guys, sure, I would do. I played a little Olave last week.
I know you did, which I think he saw 13 targets. You could have ended up having a great Olave game, but as we both know, this is going to be a volume thing, nobody's going, oh my God, how did Olave not have a huge game on 13 targets? Well, the answer is Spencer Rattler. So yeah. There's that. Anybody else here? Go ahead, whatever you're going to say, but there's so many that I can't spend all day on this, even down low. Like, do I want to go to Calvin Austin after that last game? Probably not. Troy Franklin, the Tyquan Thorntons. If you're trying to go really cheap, some of them do exist. Wan'Dale Robinson's a possession guy, might give you 15. They are out there. Hollywood Brown's 5,200 coming off a 14 target game. But the one guy we didn't mention, and I need your thoughts on this, then feel free to take it anywhere you want, and the reason we have so many shows, guys, is because we're never going to hit on everything within an hour. But Travis Hunter, I got to know what your thoughts are here against this Bengals team and what could be a legitimate shootout.
So Travis Hunter still, listen, he's in a really good spot in the sense of the game, macro buy on the game, but certainly not my preferred Jaguar. And I still look at him. The price really hasn't budged. Healthy targets raise the floor with those type of A dots. I still worry about there's unknowns that we don't have to think about with other players. And that does freak me out. So he's in the conversation. Certainly with Lawrence, we get a boost. The only other thing I wanted to say is, and it is true, it's not my favorite game, but friend of the show, Justin was saying this. I don't think people are going to look towards the Eagles-Chiefs game as much. It's such a good real-life game. But you still have a ton of elite players in that game, and I don't think they'll be popular.
I could see you being right here.
You know, like who's playing Hurts, AJ Brown, and Goddard as their stack?
You're right. Maybe there's an angle to be had here where this ends up being the type of game that no one, because you know what? I don't really want to.
Neither do I.
If anything, I'd probably go just like a single with Hurts. And we did see last year it didn't work for them, but Kansas City's main focus was shutting down Saquon Barkley in the Super Bowl, which they did. They effectively took him out of the game. The problem is they were able to carve him up elsewhere, but really it was the Eagles' defense. The Eagles lost some big pieces, right? They did. They lost Milton Williams. They lost Josh Sweat on the line. They lost Darius Slay. They lost C.J. Gardner-Johnson. And we saw some real holes in week one against Dallas. Do I think they'll figure it out? Do I think Fangio and company will figure it out as the weeks go on? Absolutely. But yeah, I also think you might be right. Maybe there's something here. Now, I do also want to say that Emwald made a good point. I think Hollywood was a product of them having game plan for Worthy and not knowing what else to do. I think it'll be better dispersed this week. Maybe. But also, you can't tell me that like Travis Kelce in that offense hasn't been there long enough for them to go to him more. He had 3 targets on the game and played almost every snap. So Juju's been there a long time. They had guys that have been on that team, and they force-fed Hollywood Brown. I would still expect him to get a lot of work.
I would too. But it is, you're playing. There's a couple positives and negatives for them. They're playing back at home. They get a slightly longer week, but they're coming back from Brazil, whereas Philly gets the long week and gets to prep. So high octane game. It's the first look, so I feel better saying this. I will let the tools do the work. Like if Mahomes or Hurts is like a 2%, I'm getting over. I will force some in.
Yeah, I would too. Emwald said Travis looks washed. Yeah, he doesn't. That's kind of the point I'm making here, though, is what options. He did have a long touchdown, but he was. Yeah,
okay. I'm like Travis Hunter. He played one game.
That was my first thought as well. Kelce was so open that you or I could have scored there. Like that.
I'm not scoring, but you would have. Yeah. I'm not scoring. But yes, I didn't think Kelce looked good. He was bailed out by basically a broken coverage.
Lord King, how many of your best ball lineups are seemingly dead due to injury? I haven't looked yet. I'll look today. I don't ever look until the week is over. But have there been any? I don't think any are dead after week one to injury.
I mean, did anyone get like critically injured? Like
season-ending style? I don't think so. I drafted tight ends so late. Like I have 40% out of 110, I think teams. I think I have 35-40% Tyler Warren and guys like that. I went you could argue it was very dumb because that's just a massive risk, but I would rather take risks on I would rather take stands and just be toast otherwise. I just didn't want to pay up for some of these tight ends. So we'll see how that goes. 40 might be high. I think I probably have like 30%, but
Warren's a problem.
But I like him, and you were getting him at like 115 at one point. Give me that all day. If I lose, I lose. I don't really care. Any other wide receivers?
No.
That's it?
That's it. I don't think you need to pay, again, week 2 of this. Why are you, unless you're telling me that you have to have Saquon and McCaffrey and Josh Allen and Chase and Lamb, and now you need to play like Wan'Dale Robinson. Okay, sure. But if you're not telling me that, unless you like those guys independently, I don't see it because there's too many guys in the mid-5s that I'm positive will have the opportunities.
All right, Ben, well, the train is leaving the station and pulling into a tight end.
I need to what the hell? You know what? Let me not even press anything.
All right, ram that train
wow.
straight into a tight end, baby. Here we go.
This is the problem now. Watch this. Yep, I know how to do it too. Okay, that's going to be a problem.
It's kind of fun though, right?
I never even noticed these.
Yeah, I think they're new. What are you pissing?
Yeah, it sounds like the koi fish at the like when you go to, you know, in Chinese restaurants they have those like sweet koi fish in the opening.
Yeah, do they eat those or are they just for decoration?
No, I don't think they eat the decorations. That's frowned upon.
All right, tight ends. Trey McBride. No, the first thing that popped off the page to me, right? Outside of Trey McBride, you don't really have any of these high. I don't want to pay $5K for Kelsey. I get what you're saying about that game being a potential shootout, but I'm just not feeling that salary right now. I'd honestly rather go to like $4,800 Laporta. I would even go $4,500 Warren, I think, before I went with Kelsey at 5K, or I'm just paying up for McBride because he's a stud.
Yeah, with you on all of that. Of course, tight end looks wildly different because we don't have the Raiders. So right off the bat, you're missing Bowers. And what do we do about Mark Andrews? Is he washed? Because I thought he was in a great spot on Showdown, and he was an afterthought.
He was, I thought, you know, hey, facing the team that you embarrassed yourself on, right? In the divisional round last year, I thought maybe they even try to get him going a little early. You're right. It was awful. I had drafted so much Isaiah Likely in best ball, and then it turns out he has that ankle injury, which sucks. I'm hoping he comes back stronger. But I'm with you. I don't. Some of these older tight ends, I think I'm just fading for now, because I also think there's ways to just get that production elsewhere.
You don't. I mean, it's such a flat structure that you're gonna have options, and I'll see it. To me, that the guys that stand out are in that next tier of, like, I mentioned Goddard maybe as an attachment. Dalton Kincaid's 3,700.
He's one of the guys that I'm very high on. I'm very high on Dalton Kincaid this year. That's a big stand I took over the summer, Ben, and I would absolutely play him this week against the Jets.
Yeah, I like that. Juwan Johnson was fantastic last week. I just don't know if I want to chase that.
What about Harold Fannin Jr.? They ran a ton of 2 tight end sets.
That guy's a problem too.
If that's not, stock down on David Njoku, I don't know what to tell you. Like, he looked better than Njoku. Njoku ran more routes and played more snaps, but I don't know how long that lasts with what we saw out of Harold Fannin Jr. He was the better player on the field.
Yeah, he was an absolute, he could be just like one of those guys. He looks like a freak.
I want to play him this week. He's 3,100. I don't care if it's against Baltimore. I'd get to some at 3,100. I think I'd probably play some Jatavian Sanders as well.
Fine with that. I prefer those guys, and I know this is a reasonable question for sure. I'm not going to chase the backup tight end on the Niners. I don't want to do that.
I am not even considering it right now.
Yeah.
Maybe if you didn't have a guy in McCaffrey who could get 31 touches in a game. Funny how he's the only healthy one now, when everyone thought he was the only one that wasn't going to be healthy. But yeah, McCaffrey had 31 touches, and you have Pearsall, and you probably have Juwan Jennings. I'm not chasing that spot.
No, it just seems like an unnecessary. And again, we'll see with Purdy. Why?
What about Brenton Strange though?
He was good. He was good. He was an attachment to Lawrence for me. Indifferent. It's not an exciting play, but I feel confident he gives you a decent floor once again.
He played 80% of snaps. He was out there running routes on the majority of dropbacks. If I can get a guy like that, I'm willing to do it. Again, and I think he's a nice attachment too. If you wanted to go with the Lawrence stacks or double run backs, Ben, like I even think Travis Etienne, Brenton Strange run back without Thomas or Hunter could be one of the most interesting ways to do it as well.
That would be different. That will, I mean, again, it's always, there's a, whatever you want to call it, like two axes of, yeah, it's crazy, but is it so crazy that you gain so much more leverage and you're willing to do it? You could be different that way. All right, forgive me. I'm going to do something and it's going to cause, what does this do? Why is that feeding it says feeding the ducks?
Yeah, it's the name of the song.
Oh, I thought it was going to be like.
Play it again. It's nice.
I thought it was going to be something about feeding ducks.
You're on background music. The sound effects are above it. You want to know my favorite? The one that
don't say space. Don't get.
No, I would jokingly come into the MLB strategy shows with this on. And it was like, yeah.
I didn't know we had this stuff.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Sportsbook Strategy Show right here on the YouTube channel. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just the old 90s style like sports radio shit that if they did it today, you'd be laughed out of the Anyway, I like Brenton Strange there. That's it for me in tight ends. Kincaid, I don't mind Ferguson, Goddard. If I'm paying up, I'm just going to the top with McBride. It's that simple. There's no Bowers on this slate. I don't even know if he plays.
Yeah. I mean, he's not obviously. Yeah, tight end is pretty flat, and you just to sum it up. I know we know this, but I like to illustrate it. If you go to the very top, you have McBride. Kittle's gone, so you have a flat dead zone. You have Kelsey at flat 5. I don't really like him. Now you're talking about $1,200 between McBride and the next reasonable player in my mind. So that is a weird circumstance right off the bat.
That's what I was saying. While you were playing around with the feeding the ducks, I was explaining that
I was expecting like, I don't know what sound that would be, but
yes, I was explaining that outside of McBride, there's nobody up there.
Into space. Interesting.
You should pay attention next time. See, nobody's happy with you right now. All right.
Kind of description. I need to talk to someone about these descriptions. They into space, and it sounds like I'm at a Mozart concert. Like, what is that?
Well, I need to talk to somebody about the Stokastic Hall of Fame, because if you guys are not there yet, stokastic.com/HOF. Download any of these over there. The link's down there. Use them wherever it is you play. DraftKings, FanDuel, Owner's Box, whatever it may be. Finish top 3 in a field of 5,000 or more, okay? And just tweet us your wins at Stokastic HOF. All of the easy steps are right here. Tweet us maybe a nice message that we can read on the air. It doesn't matter if it's a nickel or a quarter entry, whatever it may be. That's all you got to do. And you're getting a free month of the Sims Max, by the way. Sims Max, any sport you want. But wait, there's more. If you're rocking the avatar, you finish top 3 in a field of 5,000 or more, any contest twice in a calendar year, you get a free month again of Max and an additional free week of any Sims package you want. And 3 times the gold gets you a month of Sims All Access, $550 value. And any ring, $20,000, any win of $20,000 or more, you get, Ben, the custom ring in the display case that spins, all of that stuff. All of it. You know how nice that is? We engrave it for you. You get the engraved.
Awesome.
It is awesome. Engraved display case. Here, check this out. Ready? Look at that. Where's the button? There's somewhere to turn it on. There you go. And it spins. Look at that. Why would you not want to rock that avatar? You know what I mean? Yeah, look at it. Oh, it's a beauty. Anyway, Use it wherever it is you play. Finish top 3 in a field of 5,000 or more. Hit us up. All right, Ben, before we get out of here, give me one defense sub 3K that you're looking to get to this week.
The Saints.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. By the way, I need to get better at moving from position to position here. I screwed up.
Yeah,
Tight end.
This is just like amateur hour.
I asked you to remind me of this stuff. I got 15 balls juggling up in the air here.
That's because you. Is there a juggle one? No.
And you're just along for the ride.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm along for the ride. All right. I'm trying to. I got to talk to someone about these descriptions. Night driving. How does that sound?
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess that's what it's used for instead of the sound. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're driving at night, that's what you should listen to.
Right. Oh, yeah, for sure. But like it's an odd one that anyone would say, I'm about to feed the ducks and I need a song that corresponds with that. It's strange.
Yep.
Give me the Titans defense as well. Appreciate you guys hanging out as always. Don't forget, you want to get a free month of The Sims or as many as you want. Just use that link down there. Choose any of these promos. Literally just click claim offer. As Ben said, you should be doing this even if you're not trying to get The Sims. You can 100%. Stack as many free months as you want. Get your bonus bets. Get your sign-up offers. Follow those 4 steps after you click claim offer, and you are in. Plus, if you win your bets anyway, you're already free rolling. So something to consider if you haven't done so yet. Ben, anything else before we get out of here, my friend? This was a fun one.
Yeah, one final thing. You just mentioned, you're feeding the ducks and you need music. I'll leave you with this. One of the options is into space. So you're like, damn, I'm about to get launched on a rocket ship. Let me get a tune for the trip. That doesn't make any sense.
Or it may just be like you're about to smoke DMT or, go on some odd mescaline or ayahuasca trip, and you need
salvia-induced music.
Some
good
companion music. That makes more sense than actually blasting off into space.
That makes something, but appreciate everyone. Last thing, if for some reason you're not subscribed to this beautiful YouTube channel, we have so much content throughout the week, from shorts to long form to live shows. Make sure, don't miss out on it. Press subscribe, follow us there. We have a lot of content, and we don't.
What about Tails? What about Tails?
Well, Tails is a no-brainer. We already told you guys that. If you want bets and you want free content, go to Tails and press follow. Download the Tails app, and these notifications get pinged right to your device. So you're sitting in a boring meeting at work, and you look down, and you see a prop that just dropped. One click, and you tail it. Come on now. Doesn't get better than that.
It does not get better than that.
It really doesn't. It's changing the game. It's really cool stuff. So we'll see you guys over there. And again, if you have any questions, you know where to find us. Yeah, thank you. I'm going to make some changes to the show.
Bye-bye.